All right, boy, like I told you earlier this morning, man, I love sports. I love them so much. I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Bull.
Speaking of which.
Guardians lost 3 or 4 to Kansas City. Triston McKenzie was optioned down to AAA, but the Guardians are getting Gavin Williams back. So, two-part question.
Yeah.
Is a trip down to AAA enough to fix the mechanics that's going wrong with Triston McKenzie? And then with Gavin Williams being called up, what are you expecting from him in his first few starts?
Okay, good questions. Real quick, I just want to say the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians show is going to be on tomorrow. We didn't do it this morning. We'll be doing it tomorrow. And we have a big announcement on tomorrow's show about the Ultimate Cleveland Guardians show. So, guys, well, first of all, I'll answer your questions and then we'll get to the weekend, too. I don't know if going down to AAA, I wish I had a good answer. If Triston McKenzie going down to AAA is going to fix him. My initial guess is probably not, but it's easy to assume that there's an injury factor as to why he's not pitching well. We saw him a few years ago look like a superstar. I've always been concerned about Triston McKenzie because of the way he's built.
His frame.
I never like it. Always makes me nervous when you have a pitcher built like a string bean. Because we see pitchers get hurt so much. Period. I like my pitcher that's big and like I joke with this, but I want him to have a fat ass. I like a pitcher with a fat ass because it shows a good.
That's crazy.
That's all right. You want that trunk. Look at the guys like Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan. Fat asses.
Whoa.
They don't get hurt.
You just digging yourself.
Now, to be fair, Gavin Williams has got a fat ass and he's been hurt.
Bull.
Yeah. I don't mean that. I'm joking when I say fat. It's not. They're not actually fat. Just like a sturdy core.
Just let it go.
You want a guy who's physically built. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
There's so many pauses at it. It's like
you can't. There's no way you can't
no
go
way
back
out of
from
it.
it. There's no way.
I just gotta stop.
You
and
just
start
gotta
over.
get it. Yeah,
That's
you
it.
started. Go ahead. Here, start your monologue over, Bull. We give you that grace.
So the Guardians keep saying there's no injury with McKenzie. That it's not the surgery he didn't have last year. His velocity is up, and when a velocity is up, it makes you think, oh, a guy's healthy. He's throwing harder than he has before. His last 3 starts, he's thrown the hardest he has. His fastball average velocity has been higher.
Could he be overthrowing?
I think that's entirely possible. I think he is. So when you see a great pitcher, or not, I shouldn't even say a great pitcher. When you see a pitcher who throws hard, and then he goes to the bullpen, he'll often throw harder in the bullpen, right? Believe it or not, when Aroldis Chapman first came to the big leagues, they wanted him to be a starting pitcher. Can you imagine him as a starting pitcher? And back in the day, Mariano Rivera, he was a starter when he went through the Yankees minor league system. Most great pitchers were starting. Now there's more specialization, but it used to be everybody was a starter, and then guys that weren't as good, they would move to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if you have but if you see a pitcher go to the pen, even now, even when everybody's throwing hard, you see a guy who averages 93, 94, he'll go to the pen, he's averaging 96, 97. You're like, why? Well, because he knows he's only got to throw 15, 20, maybe 25 pitches as opposed to 60, 70, 80, 90. Well, he can go all out on every pitch.
Yeah.
Triston McKenzie, I think that could be an issue. His velocity was down earlier in the season. He dealt with rehab all last year for this injury that a lot of people would have had the ligament replaced. He decided not to do it. There have been pitchers that have come back without having the surgery. Not many successfully, but there have been a couple. And maybe he's trying to butch up, if you will, a little bit and put a little more, throw it like he's throwing 12 pitches.
Right.
Well, sometimes when you do that, everything comes straight.
Yeah.
You can't, if you're overthrowing, then your mechanics come off. And if your mechanics are off, then you're throwing differently every time, which could lead to other injuries, and it also leads to your fastball being straight.
And he
doesn't. First of all, no matter who the pitcher is, no matter how hard you throw, even if it's Emmanuel Clase who's been throwing 102 lately, if you throw a fastball straight, the best hitters are going to hit it. No matter how hard you throw, guys will catch up with it if there's no movement to it at all.
And he's never been a command type guy. He's never.
No, he's always been kind of a high walk guy.
Yeah,
but he has no command whatsoever on the fastball. Everything's right down the middle. And you can't survive that way.
Okay, do you think that sending him down to the minors would be the best option, or you think he, at this point where he's headed now, that he's going to become more of a bullpen guy? Would you have
for his career?
Yeah, would you have moved him to the bullpen, or would you move
That's
him
an
down?
interesting fact, Tyvis.
I'm glad you brought that up because
fact.
just 2 weeks ago on the Ultimate Cleveland Guardian show, I suggested they move him to the bullpen. So I'm glad you brought that up. But I like that they sent him to the minors because if I were them, if he's not hurt, and they're saying he's not, so I mean, they often are shady with injuries, but as far as I know, he's healthy. So if he's healthy, I am making him a relief pitcher down in the minors. Not for the rest of his career, but for now. I'm making him a relief pitcher, and my goal is to make him a valuable member of the bullpen after the All-Star break. So he's got 3 weeks to get ready to pitch in the bullpen until after the All-Star break.
How does that work? Because in the bullpen,
Yeah.
when you bring somebody out of the bullpen, you need them to come in cold and throw strikes. And if he can't throw strikes warmed up,
That's why you don't just move him to the pen in the majors. You send him there because if you walk guys in the minors, who cares? It's
What did y'all teach me the other day, a couple weeks ago? Can he be the guy where they don't start the pitcher for the first inning?
The opener.
Can he be
an opener?
Can he be opener?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep him like some value, because right now it's bad. So I'm trying to think.
Right.
He could be one of the coldest openers ever.
Yeah. They could use him in that way at least sometimes. They could find spot. They got to see how he does. That's what I would do. I don't know that they're going to do that. I don't know that that's their. If I were running the Guardians and I had free reign of money, I would move him to the pen. I would trade for 2 starting pitchers, and I wouldn't worry about it. Now they may not be willing to trade for starting pitchers, so they may try to get him. But if I were them, for the rest of this year, Tristan, you go 1 inning a game.
And
that's it.
You know what's great? I love baseball because none of the moves that they talk about in baseball are as contentious as basketball moves. Like, heck, they need to steal that conversation for Darius Garland. We're not going to start you. We're going to keep you as an opener. They're like, what does that mean?
You're going to play the first minute.
Then you're going to come chill by me. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Baseball got them little nuances of words.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, we're going to send you down to the minors, give you a couple rehab starts. No, hey, Darius, we're going to send you down to the G League and get you some money over there with the money base. Like, what?
That's right.
This is not it.
Get his confidence back.
In terms of Gavin Williams, it's good that he's back.
They said
I don't know why they didn't. He's not pitching till Wednesday. I don't know why they didn't call up somebody else for a couple of days till Gavin Williams is pitching. They're kind of wasting a roster spot, but whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. We're now 4 weeks from the trade deadline in baseball. 4 weeks, I think 29 days. But and the question is, will the front office have the ability to add to the roster and they better? I saw like it was either Bleacher Report or like Barstool Cleveland, whatever that is. I know Barstool, but I don't know Barstool.
Yeah, Barstool. Yeah, I don't either.
Put out a tweet like, "Oh, the Guardians have the 20-something or the 28th payroll, and yet they have this great record," and that's great. I applaud the players for that. Mm-hmm. I applaud the manager for that. I even applaud the front office for that. But I'm not applauding the owner for that. I'm not giving him credit for winning with a low payroll. I want the owner to spend more. And I don't like when people, like some of our local media members, get excited about that. No, we should be condemning the owner because I don't get excited that they're winning with a low payroll. I think about, man, if the Guardians had not a Yankees payroll, if the Guardians had the Brewers payroll or the Cardinals payroll, how good would they be then? They're already the second best team in baseball, even with a bad weekend. They already have the best record in the American League, even with the bad weekend. How good could they be if the payroll was $40 million higher?
Have you ever asked yourself, Tyvis, why is it that most fans usually side with, like, the ownership? Like, if the owner don't spend no money, why is it that they put the Superman Captain Kirk Save the Owner mode on and just be like, yeah, but look how much we're doing. We're not spending no money at all. And you're like, but that's
like fans pound their chest about.
Yeah, why do they take pride in that?
That's a good question. Maybe because it's more relatable. Maybe it's like they doing it. They make it. I guess you've grown up with not a lot of money, but you made a lot of things work.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
Yeah.
So they seem to be taking that same mindset and applying it to sports, where it's like, we ain't taking a lot of money, but I'm still making it work.
Tyvis balling today,
and it's like I can relate to that.
That's crazy.
I think that's my guess. I don't.
Hey, I used to come with that's a crazy. That made total sense to me. Like, it'd be true, boo. Like, they'd be like, listen, we all, for the most part, grow up with not a lot of things, but we embrace the struggle. Like, you say, listen, my mom worked 3 jobs, and she didn't have all the money, but she made sure I was clean. I had my shoes, did my thing, and you kind of take that as a prideful thing. And you'd be wanting to go back and say, but your mama probably didn't want to work them 3 jobs. It would be great if she could just work one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that is.
I think
like
people
that.
side with owners the same reason they vote against their own self-interest, because they think they're going to be one of those people someday. I think a lot of people think, I could be a billionaire someday, I could be a millionaire someday, and I wouldn't want to pay more taxes, and I wouldn't want to do this or that.
That's another one too.
That's true too.
I think it's crazy because most people are not going to be that. There's not a lot of millionaires. There's certainly not a lot of billionaires.
Well, you don't stay rich by spending it either, bull.
Well, I mean, you got to spend money to make money. No,
that's true too.
Very true. I've never seen a person say, like, because that's the premise in baseball, where it's like, hey, if you guys come and show up, you'll give us more money, and then we'll invest. But it's like, if I go to a restaurant and I show up and the restaurant is brand new and they're like, well, we're not going to spend no money. I'm like, well, listen, your steak was horrible because you didn't invest in good meat. Right. I don't like your steak. So now I'm never coming back.
Right, exactly.
But if you had great steaks, I'd come back and give you more money.
And attendance, by the way, has been great. The attendance is really picking up. There's a sellout against the White Sox this week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Against the White Sox?
Are they at home for their next series?
Yeah.
It's against the White
Well, they're
Sox?
playing, if you look at their schedule now, they've really, again, bad weekend against Kansas City. Talk more about that in a minute. But they have a very favorable schedule
White Sox.
going forward. There we go.
Yep.
White Sox at home, then the Giants, who are mediocre. Detroit's a mess. Tampa's not very good. And then I think it's the All-Star break after that, right? So
did it change your mind in terms of where the Central is with Kansas City winning 3 out of 4? Did it change your mind about them? Like, do you feel
about
like
Kansas City?
Yeah. Like, do you think they're more resilient? Because I thought they was going to fall out.
What is it, 6 games now we up?
I thought they was going to be out of here.
I've liked Kansas City all season. They were playing poorly. Kudos to them for winning the series. It was a bad weekend for the Guardians, but the Guardians still have a 6-game lead on Minnesota and 7 on Kansas City. You can't win every series. They've been playing so great. But it highlighted some concerns that I've had about this team, and that's the starting pitching and the depth of the lineup. Yeah. Those issues are still there. And what I'm most worried about with the starting pitching, because ultimately I need their starting pitching to be better for the playoffs as opposed to right now, but the longer you go where you have only 2 starters, Bybee and Lively, and you've gotten very lucky with Lively, that can consistently go even 5 innings, let alone more than that, the more your bullpen is going to get overworked. The Guardians' bullpen is so much better than any other bullpen in baseball. It's ridiculous. The numbers are crazy. Their bullpen team ERA is like 2.60. That's unheard of. I think the next best is like a run worse. It's crazy. It's like the Guardians' bullpen is here, and then the next 5 good bullpens are here.
How many innings is a starting pitcher supposed to pitch in the playoffs?
Well, it depends.
Back
on
in the
what
day,
year
I
you
won
have.
7. I won 7, dog.
60 years ago, 9. And if they went 10 innings, 10. 30 years ago, I would have said 7 or 8. Now, if you can get 5 good innings, I love it.
I can't tell you the last time I seen a pitcher in the 8th inning. Like, you see 8th inning, you're like, okay, does he have a no-hitter?
I think
that's the only way he's going to be.
Well, they take him out anyway half the time.
Yeah, like, it's...
Well,
I look at it like this. For the Guardians, the only thing in the back of my head that I keep thinking about is they are going to get to the playoffs and they don't have enough batting they don't have enough power to overcome their starting pitchers. Like, I think that the Guardians.
Well, they have more than they did a couple of years ago when they lost to the Yankees.
So what I'm saying is, I feel like the Guardians can lose games in the playoffs 8-7. 7-5. You like, that's a lot of run support.
Right.
Guys hit 2 home runs. People on base, they could get 9 or 10 hits and still lose the game because the starting pitching is not where it needs to be. And that's very rare that the Guardians are built that way. But to me, if they kept the starting pitching where it is right now, they would have to continue to produce more
hits.
runs.
Yeah, they got to hit.
Yeah,
Which has been the recipe this season, where so far we can tell that the pitching is not great, but they've been covering up for it because the offense has been clicking. Some guys been stepping up.
Yep.
Some guys, the bottom of the lineup, you see some guy out of the bottom that has a phenomenal game, hits home runs and stuff like that. So it's been saving it. But when you think about playoff baseball, it's just not a lot of runs. It's 2-0. One home run, that could be the only score of the game. So you got to be able to do something. And when you think about the pitching, when you think about Allen, Cookie, and McKenzie, it's like these dudes be out there just lobbing it up and boom, it gets smacked out. That'll be the game.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. I was trying to look up quickly who's leading the league in like innings pitched per game. So the most innings pitched is actually Seth Lugo of the Royals, who pitched against the Guardians yesterday. And he is averaging, let's see, 116 divided by 18. He's averaging about 6.5 innings per game. And he's leading the league in innings pitched at 6.5 innings per game.
So everybody's giving you 5.
The best pitchers are giving you 6.
Man.
The best pitchers are giving you 6. A couple of good starters have made, I would say 6 to 6.5 right now on average.
When Lively pitched, did he go 6 innings?
I think his last start he did. I mean, he's been pretty good.
I know Tanner's done it twice.
I'll give you the guard. So Ben Lively, let's see. Did he pitch out of the pen? No, I think he's been pitching. Let me see. Ben Lively so far this year. I can't remember if he pitched out of the pen at all this year. No, he didn't. He's made 13 starts for the Guardians, and he's pitched 71 innings. So 13, 26, 39, 52. 39, 52, 65. So he's averaging about 5.5 innings per game, which for this rotation is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
And Tanner Bybee's probably not much more than that. He's been better lately, but he's pitched he has 17 starts and has pitched 93 innings. So 34, 51, 68, 85. Yeah, about the same, about 5. So Bybee and Lively are leading the team, averaging about 5.5 innings per start. The other guys are probably averaging 4 or less. Maybe Carrasco's averaging a little more, but he's not that effective. Logan Allen's been terrible. So they're going to, you can't keep running out guys who are pitching you 3-4 innings and getting knocked out of the game.
All right, so this may be a very dumb, it may be stupid to say, and I don't know if people have done it, but what if they just flip it? Like, what if, you start a guy and you go with 2 starters? Be like, look, I'm doubling up on what I'm doing. You going to pitch 3 innings, the next dude coming in pitching 3.
Well, it's not dumb. Teams do that sometimes. If they do that more with a young starter who they don't want to throw too many innings.
Yeah.
And so they'll have – the problem is they don't have the guys to do it. For so many years, that's been their strength, is this great depth of starting pitching. They just don't have anybody that's any good. And that's why they got to go from outside the organization. When I brought up this thing about the payroll yesterday, it wasn't to kill the ownership yesterday. I've been critical of them not spending money. Guardians ownership does a lot of good things. They hire good people. We know that. They don't meddle. They give them. They're patient with them, and for the most part, it's paid off because the Guardians have had good managers and they've had good front office the entire time you and I have been doing media here.
Yeah.
Right. But this year, especially this year, the front office the ownership has to be in with spending money. And if they don't, I'll kill them. I didn't want to kill them yesterday because nobody's made any big trades yet in baseball.
No.
But if they don't do anything in the next 4 weeks, I will kill them for that. I want to give them a chance to do so. But I brought that up yesterday because it's imperative. I think this team can win a World Series if they add some starting pitching. I really believe that. I'm not saying they're the favorites. They're not. I'm not saying. And baseball is, you guys know this. It's a crapshoot in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like
nobody picked the Rangers and Diamondbacks.
The favorites in the NFL and the NBA are much more likely to win than the favorites in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of the sport. I know when I got LeBron James, he's going to play great, right? He might have one bad game. He's not going to have a bad series.
True.
It doesn't happen. The best players in baseball can have a bad series. It's just the nature of the sport. There's more failure in baseball. And so even the best players are going to fail more often than in the other sports.
I have an interesting theory. Like, my theory is, like, if, they so cognizant of, the money, I think it would be counterproductive if the Guardians, like, really won the World Series. I don't think they would ever. I think they would never.
They would not.
They would never again.
Because they would prove that they don't need to.
Yeah, but you take it though, because they won the World Series.
Yeah, you take it, and there would be years where it would just be crazy.
But they can't. They won't win. I don't think they can win the World Series as is. I think they.
Yeah, I agree.
If they don't add to the payroll, at least some, and they're going to have to add to the payroll if they want to improve their starting pitching.
And
I shouldn't say they can't win it as is. They could. But I think they're a long shot as is.
And offense better be clicking. I just tell you that.
And I think Bull is just as passionate about the Guardians and their opportunity to win. Like, the reason I be killing the Cavs is not because they're garbage. It's because I'm like, yo, all you need is a couple more. And
right, do more.
Yeah. And so with the Guardians, it's even higher because there's a certain level of a crapshoot with baseball.
Right.
So it's like, if you get in a tournament, that's the first thing. But then if you get in a tournament and get hot, you can ride a hot pitcher all the way to the championship, right?
Look at last year. The Texas Rangers barely made the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Arizona Diamondbacks
barely made it
on the last day of the season. They played each other in the World Series.
And you're like, just let us get in with some ammunition and we can win.
I mean,
I tell you what.
Even a better example, 2016. Let's face it, that Guardians team had no business going to the World Series.
That was not the most talented. That was not the most talented Guardians team.
They was up 3-1.
Their pitching staff was devastated.
They was up 3-1 too.
And their team in 2017 was way better.
Yeah.
And they lost early. So you never know. Baseball's so strange like that. But go ahead, Tyvis.
I tell you what, Wednesday. You say Gavin's pitching on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
That's a big day.
That is a very big
day because if he comes out and I'm not expecting him to just be lights out. Like I'm gonna be realistic about this. I'm not expecting him to come out there and just pitch a no-hitter. Like that's just not gonna happen. No. But if he shows some signs where it's like I see it and he's striking some guys out, at least makes me feel better about the going 100%. Towards. Like I would feel like all right, maybe instead of getting 2 pitches, maybe I only need 1.
Maybe, yeah. I would still get 2 no matter what, but you could live with 1 more easily if he looks like a stud.
And Logan and Allen,
maybe they'll spin that though. If it's just 1, all right, it's just 1 pitcher, we can spin that.
And Allen is every other. Allen got games where it's like, okay,
yeah,
I love it, but he's like a wild card. So it's like I can see where they like, listen, we can win. Like, because by the way, you're gonna shorten the rotation anyway in the playoffs to start with. So somebody gonna be right now. McKenzie looks like he's not gonna be in that role.
No chance.
Like he's not. They're rolling with 4
right now. See, the hope is that you have Bieber and Williams, and if you have to, that Lively's your 4th starter. Now he's pitched way better than that.
Yeah,
but in a perfect world, he's your 4th starter in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you at least need to get a 3rd if Gavin Williams is good. I'd still get 2 more no matter what. But if Gavin Williams is good, okay, I'll live with 1. But get like 1 legitimate number 2, number 3 type starter, and then get another guy who can eat some innings. Even if it's for the regular season, a guy who can go out there, you can throw 7 innings, give up 3 runs, like a better version of what Carrasco. Like Carrasco's giving him some innings.
Hey, we're Contra at. We're Contra.
He hit the Rockies, tearing it up.
Although it's funny, his last start, he had a shutout going into the 4th inning, and then he got smoked in 2 straight innings. But overall, he's pitched very well.
I'm about to say he's been good with the Rockies this year.
Really great for the Rockies.
Where's the dude that where happened to him? No, the guy in the bullpen. He just been hurt the whole year. I'm drawing a blank. What is
Karinchak?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been hurt the whole year.
Where the heck he been at?
He's hurt.
I'm like, man.
He's a lunatic.
But he's crazy. But yeah, he hurt.
Earl, what do you got?